Fernandez from Kamal Fernandez Dog Training, with a follow-up from the live that I did this afternoon, which where I showed you met Reset. I said I would do a live. Unfortunately, the audio was a bit rubbish yesterday. Hopefully, it'll be fine on this. I'm with my good friend and student, Kat Farrens. Some of you have met her before. She's the owner and CEO of Movement for Modern Life, an online yoga entity which recently had accolades galore. Super successful. Check her out, Movement for Modern Life. Talking about how we can deal with unplanned changes, which is relevant for both those of you that compete in dog sports and certainly in this current climate where there's been a lot of unprecedented changes which we have most definitely not expected. I discussed yesterday about focusing on the things that we can control, which in terms of competing in dog sports, we can there's a lot that we actually can control and we can affect. We can affect our dog's training. We can affect getting our peers together and organising training situations with obviously appropriate numbers. We can get venues which again allow us to or meet up at the local park and orchestrate situations which can replicate competition. There's a load of things that we can do to deal with changes. Kat, I thought I'd have this conversation with my good friend Kat because over her life in which brought movement to modern life, movement for modern life. Yeah,
it's been a long week.
Yeah, it's been a long week. Yeah, it came from the back of life changes. So tell us a little bit about that, Kat, and then your take about how you as an individual deal with changes, how your business deals with changes, and therefore how as a dog trainer deal with changes.
All the things.
Yeah,
in
all
2
the things.
seconds.
Yeah, all in 2 seconds. Yeah.
So basically, Movement for Modern Life came along because I've been a lifelong yoga fan since I was 18. I've always loved it. But what I particularly loved is the way that it helped me to actually get through some of the shitty periods in life. So I had a car crash, so I had I was physically immobile for months. And then my husband left me shortly afterwards. So shit was really hitting the fan, and yoga really, really helped me through it. And how it helped me through is that it helped me to just really, it's practicing a mental state so that when things do go wrong, you have tools to deal with it.
Yeah, tools. That's the thing. I think that's the that are really is developing tools, and this is what this period is great for. As a competitor, as a sports talk coach, I know that I have tools of which I draw on to deal with unplanned changes. And as a competitor and as a dog sports course, I encourage my students also to do the same thing, where you prepare for the things that are beyond your control. You know, the tannoy going off when you don't expect it, or a dog barking in the background, etc., or a person moving when you don't want them to. All those things are things that we can train and prepare for, but there is also certain things that we can't plan for. Like the judge running late, or you having to something totally out of the norm that you probably haven't trained for. And there is something to be said for focusing on the things that you can handle. You can control your preparation. You can control the time that you take in the ring. You can control your mental focus. Those are things that are within your grasp and that you are able to affect. And so yoga is very much about breathing, isn't it?
Yeah, that's right. And it's like when this sort of stuff happens, I think having the ability to say, okay, shit's going down. Yeah. I'm feeling really nervous. So first of all, it's owning your mental state. Yeah. Like right now, I'm feeling anxious. I feel fearful. I see a dog coming towards mine. This is making me worried. Okay, have a second. Then breathing through it. Yeah. So breathing is the most helpful thing that you have. It's the most helpful tool because it's always on you. You can always affect your breathing. How you breathe changes your physiology. It changes your state of mind. You change your breath and you change your mind. So if you're in that state of panic, if something is happening, you literally, that thing of taking deep breaths, it works.
Yeah. It's such a cliche, but it really does. In terms of what you can do at this moment to plan for things beyond your control, you can get your peers, create a Facebook group. I talked about this yesterday. I'm just going to reiterate some of those points. Create a little Facebook group of your people that you would normally train with, or just your friends, and get them to upload videos amongst yourself where you can give each other feedback, you can give them constructive criticism, you can also set training challenges. So for example, if you're a person that does agility, put some courses up, and really challenging courses to push each other out of your comfort zone. Another good thing to do is to say, for example, this weekend, get a group of you together, or just a couple of you, again depending on the numbers, and actually go out and do a complete test, a run through, without any rewards on your person, without any aids, and see where you're at to give you a starting point of where you can move your training forward on from. It might be that you identify that your handling isn't up to par, or your dog is weak on a certain element. Great. When you go away from that at home, you can progress that. You can identify those little elements that need to be stronger, and then come back together again. Utilize a Facebook group, a private Facebook group. It doesn't have to be shared. I know some people get self-conscious about sharing things publicly, but you can put it on a private Facebook group, and you can work off each other. The great thing about this time is that it showed us how technology can actually be used to our gains. It can draw us closer. So you can, it doesn't have to be people uniquely in this country. You can do it globally. Cats movement has people literally all over the globe. You have instructors. Are they from internationally?
Yeah, absolutely. Loads of different countries, and we've got people in 41 different countries who use the platform at the moment. So
all students? Yeah. Wow, that's amazing.
Yeah.
Who'd have thought it, Kat, from the initial... It's amazing, isn't it?
It's lovely.
I can remember Kat having... We were both talking about venturing into online training years ago, and small acorns and all that,
absolutely. It was like with Dogs Wise, it was 3 generations ago.
Wow.
With my dogs.
Wow.
Yeah.
How
I was
really?
like, oh, I have this idea, and now it works.
So how is it how has it affected? Obviously, has it affected your business? This kind of change, and what changes have you implemented? In the current climate.
Yeah, to be honest, we're online.
Yeah.
The team works remotely, so it's super easy. Filming of classes obviously has been difficult, and we've had to change how things have gone.
Yeah.
Lots of our teachers who do live internationally haven't been able to come over and do their filming.
Yeah.
So we've ended up doing audio classes, or they've sent in videos that they've done differently. So we've just had to change things, be a bit flexible. We've also found that people, our students, our community, are wanting something a bit different to normal. So whilst normally we'd just have lots of movement, lots of yoga classes, meditation classes, now there's more of a sense of community. There's more. We're working through different things together.
So have you seen your community, and whether it be the users and the staff, has there been a response to the and have they had to change? Has it changed?
Absolutely.
Okay.
Yeah, I think a lot more people are now looking at yoga philosophy.
Yeah.
We're all looking at sort of how the ancient wisdoms can be applied right now, because there's a lot of people who are, there are lots of challenges. So many people are going through really, really tricky times, but it is that old thing of we can't control any of the things around us, but we can control how we feel about it.
Yeah, absolutely.
And having real tools and a real community who are like, okay, let's work out how we're going to mentally prepare. How can we still feel enthusiastic? How can we feel positive? How can we feel optimistic? Even when, maybe we're losing our livelihoods and stuff is very serious around us.
Absolutely. Yeah, and I think, excuse the plane there, one of the things is thinking how you perceive things. And that, so for example, we draw it back to dog sports and competing. There's going to be a situation where you think, the test has something unplanned, totally random, that happens. And it's about reframing that in your mind to be able to deal with that and in a way. So, for example, if you realise that, there's a judge that's wearing a hat, and your dog is not comfortable with hats, you can use that as an opportunity to build your dog's confidence. You can maybe take reinforcement in the ring. You can be proactive rather than looking at that as a downer, say if we were in the real world. In this situation where a lot of people are being frustrated because we can't compete at shows, and that for a lot of people, whilst I absolutely understand the point that the world does not revolve around dog shows, what we have to also understand and have compassion for is that for a lot of people, that is their network of friends, their peers, their social outings, I should say, and it's a sense of community. So the loss of that can actually resonate with people, and I think we need to be respectful that it isn't just the case of going to a dog show and getting a rosette. It's the sense of camaraderie. I know, we were joking about, this week talked about, we were reminiscing about, would you remember when that happened at that show, etc. And you forget That's actually what people miss, that sense of community. But we can replicate that by having, as I say, utilizing technology, reaching out to people in the way, and creating little training groups, whether it be online or in person, smaller numbers. You don't need 150 people. You can have 5 or 6 and replicate. One person's handling their dog, the other person's a distraction or judge, or again, try and replicate the environment. But this is a good time to network and reach out to other people that have facilities, equipment, large spaces, and utilize them for you to take your training on the road. Obviously, be COVID compliant, etc. Just be a bit creative with what you're doing, and I think that for me is something. I don't know about your business. It's about being creative, isn't it?
Yeah, that's right. And being resilient. It's not about things. It literally is that glass half full.
Yeah.
Being resilient, being enthusiastic, being like relentlessly positive, no matter what shit is being thrown at us.
And
It's
it's hard.
okay.
And it's okay to say it's tough, but it is making the decision to reframe things in your mind. So if I brought it back to one of my dogs, my boxer, he's a dog that has throughout his life. We joke about it. He's like made of glass, and he's had numerous injuries and setbacks throughout his life. And he's now hitting a point of where I feel, I was all set. We were going to start competing. I had grand ambitions for him, but COVID happened, and largely that has been taken out of my control. And I know the hands of time are ticking, and that's all playing in my mind. But I've chosen to reframe that in a way that says, I'm training him, and if there was a competition tomorrow, my dog would be ready to hopefully do that, to achieve that goal or whatever it is. So that I'm not resting on my laurels and giving up to the fact that some things have been taken out of my control. I'm being proactive and identifying things where he could be stronger, confident on. I dread little tiny niggly things that I probably would let go normally, so I can address those. And also accepting the fact that there is a possibility that we don't know how long that it is not a reflection of the dog or my assistants, etc., to not necessarily achieve the goal. It is okay to go, do you know what, you tried, and some things are beyond your control, and it's okay. And that's the thing. And sometimes, I'll be honest, it's taken me a minute to adjust to that, and the realization that it might not happen, and to a degree being okay with that. And I think that's something. I think a lot of people, certainly if you do a sport, you have goals, like the World Championships in agility were cancelled, the World Champs in various other sports were cancelled, and people really focus intently. They get the dog and it's at its prime, and the realization that you could lose a competitive year. It's letting go of what could have happened and working on what you have. Understanding that you still have your dog, the dog is sound, etc. Certainly for Punch, he's battled numerous injuries throughout his life, and I'm happy that the dog is sound, he's fit and well, and hopefully with luck and good judgment he can still come out next year and compete. You can
absolutely. And I think in yoga, in life, like, the art is how to let go and move on. And it's like a minute by minute thing, but also when there are big things in life, how do we let go? How do we move on? How am I dealing with this moment? How am I being with other people? How am I being with my dog? And it's kind of that checking in.
Yeah, and it's reframing, isn't it? It's reframing it in a way to say, no matter what happened, I adore him. He's a super dog. He's taught me so much. I've gleaned so much from that experience, and he's given me, another dog training journey that I wouldn't have had. And despite his even overcoming his injuries, I understand the importance of preparation physically for a dog. I understand how, to build dogs up in a very specific way post-injury. Now, I'm not saying I would relish that ever happened again, and hopefully that won't happen to me again. But I know that I've had students, and certainly for me, that coach, that are having that same, and I can give them that, look, it's going to be fine, persevere, I know it's hard. So there's loads to be gained from it, if we reframe it in our mind. And I think that's what this time is definitely about. When you step into a competition, that's when your mental game is going to be really challenged. And I've taken this opportunity, and I've urged my students to focus on the positives. Take this as a time to address those things that we normally would put off, and really take it back. The other thing we discussed this is, it's okay to say, do you know what, I'm going to give my dogs, I'm going to go and explore different walks, I'm going to go in different things, I'm going to try different sport, do different things. It's great to not only expand your dog training vocabulary, but give your dog, certainly, those of us very sports specific, another thing to do, and learn about a new sport, learn about another vocation, go and try that thing that you've really been desperate to, but you didn't think you might conflict with the sport that you do. And that's a really, really healthy thing to do. And again, have a staycation, go up to Scotland, exactly, and enjoy, get back to the grassroots of why we have dogs, and it's just enjoying them. And I think that's what the blessing that this time has given me is time, and that is what this has definitely taught me is time is a commodity that we don't have a lot of, and it's to use it wisely and realize how precious it is. And whilst we might have a lot of it, there is something to be said for when the world starts turning normally again, it will go like that. So utilize this and reframe it in a way that you can maximize.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. All right, just a quick video there with my friend Kat, who runs Movement for Modern Life. I love talking to her. She's so wise, she's so astute, and so giving with her information. Check her stuff out on Facebook, on Instagram.
And we'll do a little discount code for you guys so that you can get your 14 days free trial and get your yoga and meditation.
Yeah, excellent. All right, love you and leave you. Take care, everybody. Bye.